May we see your invitation?
Welcome back, everyone. It has been a hot minute since I've been able to make a video, but I'm super excited because I'm back full swing into making content, and I'm going to be covering some content both in Classic and TBC Classic in the event that we are able to play it, so hopefully we get to. But this guide is going to be very simple and to the point. We're going to go over each zone and what herbs you can find in each zone. But a quick note for any herbalist and alchemist looking to try to make a profit or kind of get a head start whenever TBC does launch. You're going to need some herbs from Classic. You're going to be needing Dreamfoil, Mountain Silver Sage, and Golden Sansam. The reason why you're going to be needing these herbs are primarily just because they are used to help give you those first 10-15 points in both herbalism and alchemy to kind of get you to the next level of trainable pots and recipes, as well as getting you into that orange bracket for the new herbs that you're going to come across while you're going around in the Burning Crusade. First up, I feel like a lot of us are going to be spending a lot of time in this zone. It is Hellfire Peninsula. Whether we're going to be either inside the instance or outside the instance, we'll just have to wait and see. But the herbs that you can expect to find are Fellweed, Dreamfoil, Dreaming Glory, Golden Sansam, and Mountain Silver Sage. Next up on your leveling journey, you're probably going to be sent out towards Zingermarsh. This zone really has a stupid amount of herbs that you can get. The initial herbs that you can get from the zone include Fellweed, Golden Sansam, Rage Veil, I'm not sure how to say it to be honest, Dreamfoil, Flamecap, and Dreaming Glory. An interesting note about Zingermarsh are the bog fungal spore looking dudes. I'll put up a picture of them right now. These guys are really interesting because upon death they become herbable, if that's a word. If not, I just made it a word. So it's a really cool thing to implement in your farming when you're out there looking for herbs or just leveling and questing, just because they have a 19% chance to drop Mode of Lives once you herb them. My personal opinion, this zone is probably going to be heavily farmed. It's going to be highly contested for herbs just because of the sheer amount of herbs available. But definitely keep that in mind, so that way hopefully it helps you when you're questing and when you're farming for consumables. Alright, so moving on to our next zone, we're going to be looking at Terrakar Forest. This zone is the complete opposite of Zingermarsh. It's one of the few zones that don't really have a lot to offer in terms of variety of herbs, but the herbs that you can find within Terrakar Forest include Fellweed, Dreaming Glory, and Terracone. Moving on from Terrakar Forest, we're going to be entering in what my opinion is one of the most beautiful zones in all of World of Warcraft. I love questing here, I love running around here, and I love getting lost in this zone. And we are talking about Nagrand. Unfortunately, Nagrand is not going to have a lot to offer in terms of variety of herbs, but what it does have to offer you is Fellweed and Dreaming Glory. Alright, so moving on with our second chapter in our series, we're going to be taking a look at Shadowmoon Valley. Shadowmoon Valley is going to have 3 primary herbs that you're going to be able to find. These are the ones that you're going to come across the most, and it's going to be Fellweed, Terracone, and Nightmare Vine. Moving on from Shadowmoon Valley, we're going to come to probably one of the most brutal looking zones in all of the Burning Crusade, and I'm talking about Blades Edge Mountain. So Blades Edge is gonna mainly have Dreaming Glory and Fellweed. This zone is a little bit tricky for herbalists just because it really benefits you to really have a flying mount in this zone just to be able to reach some of them, just because sometimes they're going to be on like different tiers of the mountain. It's a really confusing zone overall for herbalists. So if you happen to find yourself out there, which I hope you do while you're questing, definitely keep your eye out for these 2. These are the 2 that you're primarily going to come across. Just, let it be known that around this point in the game, you might want to start looking at investing into the flying mount, just because this is one of the first zones where it really starts to hurt herbalism wise if you don't have a flying mount. I skipped Nagrand in terms of the flying mount section just because I think everyone kind of knows about Nagrand. Druids are definitely going to have an advantage over you in that regard, but once you hit Blade's Edge and Netherstorm, looking at trying to be at the correct level to have a mount will really level up your game of how many herbs you're able to get. So just a heads up. And now we're moving on to Netherstorm. This zone, I, in some regards, will put it higher than Nagrand in terms of aesthetics, just because it has a beautiful skybox, a very unique landscape to it, beautiful architecture with like the industrial blood elf type tubing and stuff. It's really unique. It's really unique. But when looking at herbs, this zone is probably second up to Zangarmarsh in terms of variety that it has to offer to the player base. The herbs that you can find within this zone include Dreaming Glory, Netherbloom, Golden Sandsam, and Mana Thistle. This last little section is going to be focusing on the instanced herbs. Primarily, there's two places that you're really going to find in what I would like to call the important herbs. The first one is going to be the instance Coilfang Reservoir, specifically the Slave Pins. In this instance, you can find Dreaming Glory, Rage Vial, Rage Veil, I still don't know how to pronounce it, Fellweed, and Ancient Lichen. In addition to this, there is another instance, one that is one of my favorites in the Akendown. It is the Mana Tombs, and inside this instance, you can also find Ancient Lichen. It's important to kind of highlight, though, something that you really need to keep your eye out for. Just because we're going into TBC does not mean we're done with the lotuses. There is a new lotus available in the Burning Crusade, and it is a Fel Lotus. Something very unique about this is that it is randomly found in any herb that you gather in the world. So it's almost better RNG, but it's still RNG at the same time. Thankfully, people aren't going to be camping this one spot where this Fel Lotus is going to spawn. From what research I've done, it looks like you can get it from almost any Outland herb that you're gathering from. I'm not sure exactly what the chances on it. I'd probably have to kind of do a little bit more research on this, but this is simply just what I'd like to call a Ghetto guide, just kind of going over the basic part of herbalism for the Burning Crusade. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this guide. Hopefully it helps someone in some way. I am gonna start looking into making other guides for the TBC, as well as some Naxxramas retrospective kind of videos, just because I'm still progressing through Nax with my guild. We're having a lot of fun. I have never seen this content in my life, and I am absolutely enjoying it. Keep your eyes out for more videos. I'm going to be trying to make at least 1 to 2 per week, so that should be fun. That should be interesting, but I'm really excited to be back making content on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed as well. If you have stumbled upon me by accident, I'm glad you stayed this long. Be sure to leave a like, follow, all that other mumbo jumbo, and just subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of what I have to offer. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.